Hey guys, and welcome to another speed build. Today I am building a home for a couple only using base game items, and I thought it would be fun to try it because I feel like I rarely use base game items anymore when I have expansion packs, and I kind of forgot what was in base game, so I thought it would be fun to just filter everything for base game and then just see what was actually there to start with. And that is what I did. And I started off by going with the outside because I felt like I looked through the furniture and I felt like most of it was kind of modern looking, most of it at least. So I thought I was going to go for a kind of modern look outside on the exterior. So I chose this door and then these windows just to keep it coherent so it wasn't too weird on the inside and outside. But yeah, I only went for a couple's home, and that is because to start off I thought this was going to be a starter home, but then I kind of saw it as a challenge to see how nice I could make it only using base game items. Not nice, but like the small details I usually add, they are normally from the stuff packs or expansion packs, so I thought I would want to see how much I could actually fit in that was from base game. So I kind of dropped that idea because I really wanted it to look nice and I wanted it to look like an actual home and not maybe something that looked like it was only base game. I wanted people to feel like this could be just a normal home. So I kind of challenged myself a little bit there. And I went for this just normal look of brick outside because, again, to fit with the theme, but I didn't want it to be too modern because there are some things inside that isn't top modern. But yeah, I wanted it to match, kind of. So, but yeah, it was really fun because when I built this, I had to update the game, and I wasn't quite sure as to why, and I later found out it was because they added the new items. And when I had opened the game again, I didn't realize that, so I actually ended up playing around with some of the furniture that was new, which I didn't know at the time, but I didn't really end up going with it in the end. But it was kind of funny because when I saw one of the things, I was like, I don't remember this, but I guess it's just because it's base game and I rarely use it. But it turns out it was new, so that was why I'd never seen it before, but I didn't quite realize that until I was done. But I don't think I'm going to be using any of the new stuff, unfortunately. But it is there, and it's nice they add some new things. So, yeah, that's it, I guess. For the living room, I wouldn't call it small. It's kind of small, not too small. There is room for a 3-seater couch and chair, so it's not too small. But again, this is a couple's home, but I imagine either this would be like a young couple who don't want to have kids or don't want to have kids yet, or this could also fit for a hip elderly couple because there is room for dinner guests and just guests in general. So this could fit for either. And here you can see I'm playing around with this couch, which I found out was new, but I didn't know at the time. I will not end up going with it because I felt like it wasn't modern enough, if that makes sense. So I will not be going with that. But I'm using a lot of the artwork that I found in the hidden objects mode. So I was really inspired by those because I found out that most of them were actually base games. So I thought, why not try to make something from that? So that is kind of what inspired me, both in the living room and in the dining room, I think. Yeah, it's the dining room. I found some of the pictures I liked, and then I tried to go from there to see if I could make it fit. And I think it turned out okay. But yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think. So I am struggling to find out what I want in because I realized quickly how many of the items I normally use are actually from expansion packs. So like here, I ended up putting in counters instead of an actual sideboard because I couldn't really find anything that fit in, and also there aren't any that are like 3 tiles wide. But I think it turned out okay with the cupboards or the counters because I think it could kind of mimic a sideboard, a modern one at least, or like a built-in one. So I think I hope it turned out fine. It is kind of hard using only base game, but I think in the end, you can easily make it work if you only have base game. There are some limited options in the styles because I feel like they only have modern or like rustic, like really old rustic items. So I think you are kind of limited in the style of builds you can make with the furniture in base game, but it definitely doesn't limit you because, as you guys can see here, I actually played around with a lot of stuff and I remove a lot of things because I actually noticed how many options I had. So that was really fun. And a thing that really surprised me is actually the amount of decorative items and clutter and stuff, how much of it is actually base game, the stuff that I normally use. An example is in a couple of, yeah, there we go. These mugs that are hanging on this rack, I was sure they were from the City Living pack because they looked like something from City Living, but I found out that they were base game. So the more you know. And I think that is something I have kind of just not thought about, because normally when I think base game, I think it's really limited and I think there aren't that many items, but now only filtering things from base game, I notice like how many things there actually are. So I don't feel like it was a ripoff at all, and I don't think that you'd have to have expansion packs to play the game if you just like playing. I mean, there are some things like actions and stuff where you can get those from the expansion packs, but besides that, you could easily play the game without. And that's what I learned from this, and it was really fun. And you can see in the dining room, I was inspired by this green painting that I discovered that I really love, so I decided to go for a modern-ish green dining room with some green chairs because I noticed that I never use colored chairs. Like, I will only use black, gray, or white, or brown for like wood textures. I never play around with the color of the seating of chairs, and I think this looked really well, so I looked really nice, so I think I'm probably going to be doing that in the future as well. And you can see I removed those couches and put in these classic base game couches that I again rarely use, but I think they turned out well and they fit in pretty nicely. So yeah, the only thing I was struggling a bit with was the bathroom because I didn't want to use the same counters as I did in the kitchen. I thought that would be kind of weird, so I decided to go for these counters, which you had to get through the chef. If you'd leveled up as a chef or something, you would get those unlocked. But I decided to go for those because I think they looked most bathroom-ish out of all of them that weren't the kitchen ones. So, but yeah, as you can see, I put in these towels and all this clutter that I never noticed was base game, which apparently it is. So, yeah. And it is actually a pretty simple build. I'm just going to be making the bedroom and add a little fencing and stuff outside, but there isn't really much to it. I mean, I knew from the start it was going to be base game and it was mainly going to be modern, so it wasn't that many options for some of the furniture, so I'm mainly playing around with the placement of stuff and not necessarily the items itself, because there were some things I knew I was going to use from the start and some things I knew I didn't like, so I kind of had an image in my head of what it was going to look like in the end. But that was pretty much it for this build. I don't know what more I can say, so I'm just going to let you enjoy the rest of the video without me babbling along. If there's anything you want to see, leave it in the comments, and as always, this is up for download in the Sims 4 gallery. Just use my hashtag or use my origin name, which is in the description down below. And I hope you guys liked this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So take care, and bye.